Bear cub walks into family's garden, hugs the dog when he tries to bark and alert the owners.
But before we start, please take a moment to give this video a like, subscribe to HappyWorld, and hit the bell so you'll never miss these great stories.
What would you do if a bear cub walked on over into your garden? Well, one family living in a Slovenian village got the chance to find out. This bear cub wandered into the family's garden, and when the family dog was about to alert them all, the bear quickly took action. You won't believe how this crazy story turns out. It's no secret that brown bears can be downright scary. These bears can grow to be over 1,500 pounds and are a well-known carnivore. They're scattered all throughout North America, Asia, and Europe, and one bear in particular found himself wandering around Slovenia. Meet Meadow, a 3-month-old brown bear cub. Meadow was abandoned by his mother and had nowhere to go. He was all alone in the world and was looking for a place where he could find shelter. Meadow was walking around when he stumbled across a Slovenian private residence. Meadow, of course, had no idea the property belonged to anyone. All he could tell was that there was a garden he wanted to be in. Meadow decided to settle in and make himself at home in the garden. The garden, however, belonged to the Logar family, and they had no idea there was a new guest making himself at home in their yard until someone noticed him. The Logar family happens to have a pretty huge family dog named Matevs. The dog is a Rottweiler and works hard to make sure the family stays protected at all costs. Matevs was the first to spot the little brown bear. Matevs was heading out into the yard to run around like he normally would. At first, there was nothing really out of the ordinary in the yard. That was until the Rottweiler noticed an uninvited visitor. The Rottweiler soon made eye contact with Meadow, and the two stared each other down. They weren't too far away from one another when Matevs was about to open his mouth to bark and alert his family. Then Meadow quickly jumped into action. In order to show the dog he meant no harm, Meadow quickly went over to hug him. The hug seemed to calm Matevs down, but the dog still let out a loud enough yelp to show that something was going on. The family then went outside to see what the commotion was about. The Logar family went outside and were shocked to see a baby bear there hugging their dog. From what they could tell, the bear seemed harmless and sweet. It was also apparent the baby was orphaned. The family was faced with a serious dilemma. They couldn't possibly leave this poor baby bear all alone to fend for himself, so the family made a group decision that would change their lives and Meadow's life forever. The Logar family decided they would adopt Meadow and keep him as their own. They named him Meadow Streko, Lucky the Bear, and from that point on, Meadow would be part of the family. It wasn't long before he settled in nicely. It didn't take much time for Meadow to warm up to the family. Soon enough, he was play fighting with his adoptive father and rolling around in the grass in the backyard. Life was looking pretty swell for this young brown bear. Eventually, the family began to petition for permission to build an enclosure on their land. That way, Meadow can roam around freely and live with them without problems. However, the situation wasn't looking too good for them. So far, the Logars' request hasn't been taken seriously. The country's environment inspectors and vets have stated that building an enclosure for the bear would be far too dangerous. Instead, they've offered another solution the family finds unacceptable. The government instead have been urging the family to send Meadow to an animal shelter where they feel he'll be properly looked after. However, the family has grown far too attached to Meadow to let him go without a fight. Eventually, though, the Logars realized Meadow was getting too big. Eventually, the family realized they had to do what was best for Meadow. They agreed to send him off to an animal shelter where he could be looked after. However, the plans didn't go quite the way they intended to. Right before Meadow could be sent off to the shelter, he went missing. Someone had apparently come in and stolen him. Everyone was shocked and went looking. Eventually, Meadow was found and he was in great shape. Everyone was relieved and happy he'd go along to a better place. Meadow was then brought to the animal shelter. Now, Meadow's living out his life in a bear sanctuary. He's enjoying being around other bears like him, and his family can come and see him wherever they'd like. Now he has all the space to move around and enjoy his life. The Logar family will never forget little Meadow and how he impacted their lives with his sweet attitude. Matevs also will never forget the hug he received for the first time the two met.